Tauranga startup Kitcal has taken a few years to develop and find a market for its customised tablet for seniors. Now, with COVID having provided a catalyst to the market, the company is looking for funding to start exporting its product further afield. NBR's Dita Boni spoke to founders Julie Caldwell and Julie Blackwell and asked them to describe what they've developed.
Our product is an appropriate hardware and software package for seniors who at the moment are left out of digital technology. In a nutshell, that's what it is. So we found that, starting with my mum and then moving from her situation to many other older people and looking at how many there were in New Zealand and then how many were in the world, we realised that this is actually a gap in the market. And just like every other age group, older people need an appropriate product to get them connected. And so that's what we've done.
So what is the difference between your product and a normal smartphone that other people might use? Why is it, in what way is it different?
Sure. Kitcal is much simpler to use. The whole journey of Kitcal is it comes ready straight out of the box. You don't need to upload anything to get it running. You don't need to connect it to a data plan. We've got a SIM card in. It's literally out of the box ready. It's also remotely managed by us. That's the magic that's really behind Kitcal, is that we push the software updates. The person using the tablet is never required to action an update. Also, family are able to customize the Kitcal tablet remotely from their own app. So it's really just a very simple user experience, which takes the fear out of using technology.
Julie, see, when I talked to you 2 years ago and you produced this idea, I thought, that is such a great idea. 2 years later, though, I'm surprised you don't have more competition in this space. Have there been competitor products that have sort of developed over the time at all?
Dita, no, they haven't. There are products overseas, and there have been for several years, and we looked at those very carefully. And we looked at the appropriateness of them and the level of tech you needed to run them. And they're not that far ahead of where an iPad is in terms of the skills that you need, the competencies. And what we found was that the people who are most at need, the most senior, the most vulnerable, are just not, it's just not appropriate for them. They have skill and competency issues, they have confidence issues, and they just really aren't able to use that in the way that it's intended. And so we really saw that there is a market above that. And so that's why we've filled it in with this. And so many people told us across the aged care sector, across the tech sector, that this just wasn't something that was needed or wanted, but they just don't understand the needs that these people have, the requirements that are not the same as someone who's 30 or 50 or 20. And so that's why we filled that gap.
So from what I can discern, you've had some sales, not huge sales though, but you seem to be projecting sort of very significant growth, let's say, in the next 10 years. On what are you basing that? I mean, your product is quite expensive. How is it? What's going to cause the mass adoption of the product, do you think?
What we're offering is more than just here's a piece of hardware, you figure it out. We're a service as well. We help people along the way. So that's really where we shine different than an Apple product, where if you have an issue, you've got to figure it out yourself. You don't just call them up and ask them for it. And that's where we're doing it. And though we've got this positive trajectory for sales, really the last year, our focus has been on really understanding and testing and learning the market in New Zealand, looking at what's overseas, refining what we've got. And now our next focus with this capital raise is to grow our team, to have an in-house marketing director and salesperson, so we can really define the best way to sell Kitcal, because we know there's this overseas market, and we want to define how to sell it in New Zealand, and then we want to replicate that overseas as well in Australia and in the UK.
So can you tell us a little bit more about the capital raise? I mean, you're not asking for a huge amount of money. Do you have investors in mind, or have you had people approach you? What kind of people are interested in this technology? Can you tell us a bit more about that?
We do have our first investor who's quite prominent in New Zealand in the aged care area and understands it a lot. And he does want to keep himself anonymous and his privacy, which we respect. But he really understands this. What really rang true to him is we were talking about how people are there's lots of products out there developed for children. There's software for children. There's hardware for children, but people aren't doing the same thing for seniors. And there's no reason why that can't be. And that really rang true to him. And he sees that and the need and how much joy being able to communicate with your family directly can bring, and communicating with the grandchildren when they haven't had that communication before. It really sparks a lot of joy with the senior person. So we're really excited to have him on board. And I guess at this point, for the remaining of the capital raise, we're just exploring different parties to see who we can bring on.
And will it change the ownership of the company?
Yes, it will, because Julie B and I have founded and run this company ourselves, and we have invested our time and money into it up until now. And now we see the time that we need to bring other people on board with skills in other areas. I mean, we've run a really tight ship these last 2 or 3 years because we had the vision, and it's so much faster to do things yourself and be able to bring people in on contracts and be flexible and see what's out there. And of course, when we started, we weren't even sure that it was possible to do it. Of course, many people told us it wasn't. And we've got through that. And so now we're saying, here's our validated product. Here's where we know the market is. And so we need to bring people in and bring some of those skills in-house and really ramp this thing up and get it out there.
So then once you've got the money, what is the very first thing you're going to be doing with that money?
Hiring our team. We want to grow that in-house team. Marketing directors is high on our list. We want somebody who can live and breathe Kitcal daily and really understand the way to sell and get it out there and have people know that it's available. You don't have to give your mom your old iPad, and you don't have to struggle through that. You don't have to take away her technology because she's accidentally put her credit card into some sort of online site. There is Kitcal, and also a salesperson, to reach out to all of those rest homes.
So Julie B, what about the financial side of it? What do you think is achievable in 5 years if all these sort of things come to fruition?
Achievable financially, we'll definitely be able to go overseas and into the UK, and we do see it as a profitable business. But we also want to invest. We want to be a big business. We want to expand on what we do. We want to add some other features. We've got this huge platform that sits underneath Kitcal that we can build on, and we can change and we can adapt as people's needs and skill sets change as they age. So we are really excited about the next 5 years. I actually wish we could fast forward and be there, because that will be an exciting time at Kitcal.